Hello and welcome to Top Story. Is the fragile peace in the Democratic Republic of Congo unraveling? That's what the international community dreads as clashes in the east of the country intensify and the refugee crisis gets worse. The United Nations says 10,000 people have recently fled across the border to Uganda as government forces fight rebels loyal to a renegade Tutsi general. Aid agencies are warning that malnutrition among the refugees is reaching dangerous levels. They're worried thousands more could be uprooted. The violence has grave political implications. It's centered in North Kivu, a region which has been a tinderbox for conflict and drawn in neighbors Uganda and Rwanda in the past. The big fear now is a return to DR-Congo's war of 1998 to 2003, which cost an estimated 3.8 million lives. To discuss this, I'm joined in the studio by Louis Kemayou from the Pan-African Press Association here in Paris. Thanks very much for joining us on Top Story. Let's talk about the humanitarian issue first. That's what everyone's talking about. We're talking about 170,000 new refugees since the start of this year. How hard is it to provide aid for them?
It's very difficult because in the beginning of this week, the World Food Programme was saying we can now still afford the situation in helping people get some food, get well received in the countries where they try to run to. But we don't have enough means to do that for a longer time. That means it's a very urgent situation.
Is it a difficult terrain as well to deal with?
Yes.
If we could put this in context, the renegade general in question, General Nakunda, says essentially he's protecting the Tutsi minority in the DR Congo against Hutu rebels operating in DR Congo and also against the Congolese government. Is the Rwandan conflict, the Hutu versus Tutsi conflict, is that being exported? Can we say it like that?
Yes, because the position of General Kunda is very simple. He says the DRC state cannot do anything in protecting the Tutsi. What is doing Rwanda? Rwanda has also said DRC doesn't want. The willingness of DRC is not seen in helping to disarm those Hutus who came in DRC. So he is able to do that. That's why he will be doing it if they allow him or if they don't allow him. So by all the means, he will help doing that.
And how does the government of the DR Congo see this? Is it an ethnic question? Is it an ethnic issue, or is it more about resources?
It's both of that. But the fact is that there is no state now. There have been elections, there is a president, and there are authorities in the state, but there is no real power of the state in all the country, precisely in those two Kivu provinces.
And so if the state is weak, how does that increase the risk of a return to war? I mean, we saw in the late 90s, of course, other countries, 6 countries, in fact, joining together in what was called Africa's World War at the time. Is that a risk at the moment?
The first risk is that everyone has forgotten the situation in DRC because of Sudan, because of the situation in Darfur. And now, with these attacks, with General Kunda, we are remembering it's the biggest conflict we have had in the Eastern Africa. And if we don't help resolving this problem, I'm not sure the geopolitical situation in all this corner of Africa will be easy to resolve.
And what's the main issue for Western powers in this region?
I think the main issue is peace. For the companies, there is another agenda. They of course, are working with all the sole resources of the DRC. People say it's a conflict between Rwanda and Uganda in DRC. So the issue is very complicated to identify, but I think we don't have the same agenda as when we are talking about the states or about the companies.
So peace is obviously, I mean, stability is an important thing for the West, yes. But what about business deals? Is that something that could grow if there was more stability, or is the West not very interested in the Great Lakes?
With peace or without peace, business will continue growing. We've seen it during all this period. There has been no problem with the business people who are working there. No company has left the DRC. So I don't think the problem is the stability or peace. They will continue growing without or with the peace in the region.
Let's just go back to the Rwandan linkage, I mean, because that does seem very crucial to this, and I've been reading reports in the Ugandan press that Rwanda may have even sent some troops back into DR-Congo. Is that something that could risk igniting this conflict, the Rwandan link?
Well, the Rwandan link, generally, the present Rwanda and DRC as very opposite countries who have very serious diplomatic problems. But I remember when I went to Rwanda last month, I saw Congolese who come to Rwanda without any visa and vice versa. When you are leaving DRC for Rwanda or leaving Rwanda for DRC, if you are from those countries, you don't need any visa to circulate between them. So concerning the people, there is no problem. But concerning the geopolitical issues, of course, the regimes have different points of view. They are preparing now a meeting. They have signed an agreement in Kinshasa this 4th of September in which to resolve the problem Kunda is saying he's able to do. So I think they will finally find a position. They have all been DRC, Rwanda, and Burundi. They have been one country before during the Belgium colonization. So I think they will find a good issue concerning the conflict now going on.
And what are the implications for President Kabila? I mean, because there were elections last year, there seems to be some return to normality, even though you say that there isn't a strong central state. What are the implications for him and his government of these problems in North Kivu? Fairly briefly.
Yes, I think he wants to show he's the president of all the country, of the whole country. So he'll try by all the means, the state gives him to make that real. And I think that is the only thing he can be doing very useful for the population.
Right, okay. Thank you very much. Well, that's all we've got time for on Top Story this morning. That was Louis Kemayou in the studio from the Pan-African Press Association. Do join me at the same time for Top Story tomorrow. And, of course, you can catch up with this edition and much more on our website, www.France24.com. Do stay with us on France 24.